Hi everybody.
I'm Randy.
And I'm Olive.
And this is Big Rig Living. Today's topic is training and training experiences.
Okay. I'm not going to say too much because I've never been a trainer. See, I was the smart one. But no, I can't say that because you do need some good trainers on this road. But Randy has trained about 10 people in his career with one of the companies he used to work for before. And he had some experiences. So what we're going to do today is he's going to tell you all about his experience and all the people that he has trained. He's given them nicknames. And throughout the stories that he's going to tell you, you'll see why. Let us begin with...
We're going to start with...
naked.
Yeah, naked
chick, right?
Right, naked chick.
Naked chick. Okay.
So, I happen to be starting a new training round. I just finished with someone else, and I was asked to take on this person instead of the trainee that I was going to deal with, and to take this person on my truck. And I was like, okay, my dispatcher was like, I really need somebody to finish this up. And I was kind of confused at first, but I agreed to it. So I met up with this person. She was getting off the truck with another partner of hers, and she jumped onto my truck. Now, day one, she was full of personality. She's like, she kind of had like that baby doll look. She was a bigger girl, but she really pulled off the baby doll look really well. And she told me, she was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, hey, how's it going? She was telling me that her her other partner or whatever was kind of crazy and all like that. And he was telling me the same about her. She was like, well, she said, how's it going? And I'm like, I'm doing good. How are you? She said, I'm every black guy's fantasy. I said, well, I'm every white girl's dream. Nice to meet you. She happened to be Caucasian, by the way. So, we hit it off right off the top, right? We had lunch. We talked about different things, our different, experiences and companies that we've worked for and everything. And we got along really good. Day two, right? I'm driving, just trotting along. It's probably, 6:30 in the morning. I hear her stirring back there, and I'm like, okay. She opens the curtain, and I'm just driving along, and I've just gotten out of traffic, so I'm just like, do-do-do-do-do. I'm like, hey, good
You're
morning.
do-do-do-do-do, huh?
I'm just like, do-do-do-do-do. And I said, good morning. She comes from the back, and what I see wrapped in a white top sheet, right? Sits up front, throws her leg up on the dashboard, whips out a cigarette, lights it up, and starts smoking. I look to the right. She is stark naked as the day she was born. With the blanket, just draped over her like it's a toga, wrap or something. And I'm over here like, and I look at the road and I'm like, is this for real? Like, this is not happening, right? And then I look over and she's still sitting there. Just everything's out, right? The blanket was literally like draped down and going over her, like the bottom part of her stomach, while her right leg is up on the dash. So everything is just whoa. And I'm over here just like, okay. So I'm like, this isn't normal. Like we didn't talk about this. Like, and I was like, are you gonna put some clothes on? Like, what's the deal? She was like, what's the problem? I'm like, you're naked. Like, she's like, you were married before, right? I was like, yeah. She's like, what's the big deal? And I just kind of turned the steering wheel and kept driving. And I was thinking, I do not want to be that guy that hits up dispatch. The calls are, typing in. So they're talking about, hey, I don't know about this girl. She's sitting up here butt naked without a word agreement, nothing between us. And I'm sitting here having to look at this. I don't even know what category this falls under, but whoa. Now it's just the beginning of craziness. Because to be perfectly honest, she was wonderful. She was fun. She crazy as I don't know what. Wild, and would keep you laughing until you didn't have enough energy to breathe. She was too funny. We ended up having a really good time out here, and then she kind of left me after training and all like that. We had agreed we were gonna hang out and all like that. She left me to go chase some dude in another trucking company, and then later on she found me talking about, hey, you know, it didn't work out. He was able to work for the company, I wasn't. I had to go somewhere else, and our relationship, you know, went apart. So she wanted to get back on the truck with me. I'll save that one for another story. Another time. That story for another time. So then my next trainee, I called her Medicine Woman.
Medicine Woman. This is one of my favorites too.
Yeah. So Medicine Woman, she was a sweet little lady from, I'm gonna say, Alabama. One of those honeys.
Southern Belle.
Yeah, she was a Southern Belle. She kind of looked like an older Jennifer Aniston. Real cute.
Go ahead.
What? I mean, she was a cute little, you know, cute little nice lady. And she was like, you know, the honey, sweetie, baby, darling type of lady, right? So it turned
Bless
out,
his little old heart.
Yeah, oh, she was big on the bless your little heart thing, right? So I'm out here and I train her, and we get along fairly decently and all. But I started noticing there were some things that were a little bit off. You know, she was running a little bit late on runs and everything, and then we would get ready to do things and she would be kind of off and you know, driving on the lines a bit. And I was wondering, like, what's the deal with her, you know? Like, what's going on? And her attention span seemed to be just not always there. And I'm like, okay, is there like a mental problem or something? I'm not sure. I was really trying to figure it out. And the more we talked, the more I started paying attention to where her real intentions were. She was running off route, off our runs, off route, to go and try to go to a Walmart or a medicine place to try and fill her prescription. And I was like, did you not take care of this at home? Are you not able to, you know, get this mailed or something like that? She's like, no, I have to go to the nearest Walmart to do it, or find this and find that. And I'm like, okay, you know, our dispatcher didn't tell me anything about this. So I asked, like, what's the deal? And he was like, well, she did mention that she needed to get her medicine. You know, she's an older lady, it is what it is, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. Then I heard her in her frustration on the phone with the Walmart pharmacy tech or whatever, and she was going off the handle. I mean, she was giving him the business.
She was livid.
Rah, 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 rah. And this was, again, for me to see, was quite out of character, because, again, she was one of those, honey, baby, sweetie, darling, God bless your heart, you're just, oh my gosh, you know, that sort of thing. And sweet as an angel. But when she didn't have her meds, yo, devil in disguise. She was just like, rah, rah. I was like, what?
How was she, baby?
Like with this face too, just she was flying off the head, and I'm driving and I'm looking over my shoulder like, whoa, like I didn't know this lady could do that. So this one desperate day, I'm back there asleep and I'm feeling boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? I'm like, I feel like she rolled over some of those, you know, whatever, concrete barriers or something, yeah. You know, whatever. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So I jump up, and she's coming through a intersection where she had just made a right to turn and ran over the stop sign back there. And I'm looking out the window, seeing the stop sign laid down, and there's people at the intersection looking at the truck, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no way. I'm like, what are you doing? She was like, I gotta go get my medicine. I'm like, what are you talking about? She pulls into a parking lot with a 53-foot van trailer. A parking lot that is designed only for cars. She pulls into this thing. Barriers and trees and lights and all in this parking lot. She pulls up to the front of this doctor's office and hops out like she's the Dukes of Hazzard, runs in there and tries to go get her meds.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there as her trainer, all but assured before I wake up that I'm going to bed and this lady's going to be further down the road toward our delivery, waking up to this nightmare scenario of her pulling into this parking lot that is not designed for a truck.
Like really far out of route, right?
Way out of route. Way. She runs in there like her hair's on fire, and I'm sitting there just like, okay, enough is enough. So I get on the Qualcomm and I'm like, look, I just woke up to this situation. There's a down stop sign at the corner of so and so and so and so. You know, I'm just filling them in, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this lady, but you know, something's not right here. So she goes in and she comes out. She gets what little bit of her medicine she's supposed to have, apparently. And she says, I still need to get some things refilled, but at least I got some of it. And then she asked me if I can help her get out of this parking lot nightmare. It was ridiculous, man. I must have been there for like 20-25 minutes just trying to inch around stuff without hitting lights and trees and everything. I finally go around the furthest part of the parking lot. I'm trying to inch around corners that are not designed for a trailer, because you know that's where you end up with the most trouble. And then I'm having to go up on grass that's on an upward part of a hill and basically bottom out the front of the grill and cut all that grass right there just to turn it around. It was ridiculous. So we get back on the highway and I'm asking her, I'm like, what's the deal? What's going on with you? She's flying off the handle with me. She's like, why did you bother telling dispatch? You're always talking. I'm like, I'm your trainer. It's my responsibility. Everybody saw the sign of our truck back there, and they saw the number of our truck and trailer. That's going to trace back to me, and I have to answer for what you decide to do on a whim. I mean, I don't understand what's going on. Talk to me. She still didn't want to give me the information or what's going on. Finally, I find out as we get closer to the next Walmart location that she wants to, go in, what she is actually requesting. And I only get this information because she is snapping on this Walmart person who refuses to fill her prescription. It turns out, drum roll please, she is taking Percocet with a morphine patch and another bit of medicine that started with an I can't even remember. Now, I remember having 2 teeth pulled in the military. I took Percocet and I was talking to people who weren't there. Okay? And I found this out by the person who drove me home from my appointment. I was waving at people and having conversations with folks that weren't even there. This woman was taking Percocet while driving a 53-foot van, trailer, and semi with a morphine patch, you guys. And then some other medicine I couldn't even pronounce.
She kept that quiet. She had to have kept that quiet from the company.
I was like, you got to be kidding me.
That's a big no-no out here.
So no sooner did she get off the phone, I told her, I said, look, I'm not trying to be rude at all. I'm not trying to be in your business like this, but as your trainer, I need to address the obvious elephant in the room here. Said, so I couldn't help, but over here you mentioned Percocet and morphine. Like, how are you driving a truck? Like, how did you even get with the company? What's going on here? I don't understand. I feel like I'm in danger because I didn't know you were running with this, and I'm sure this is against the law somewhere.
Third medicine, wasn't there?
Yeah, it's the one I couldn't pronounce. And I'm like, I feel like my life is in danger. I don't understand. Like, we need to have a conversation here. She was like, it's really not a big deal. I was like, oh, it is very much a big deal, because now I'm understanding what your motivation was back there, and I don't think I can in good conscience keep this going. Like, we need to go back to the main headquarters. I don't see what the big deal is. I don't see and so finally I got out of the heated conversation that we had that her little hometown doctor was fine with prescribing her these medicines together. And between us, she wasn't supposed to have that, especially that
driving
consistent.
a truck.
Right. But even operating vehicles that she had her own private vehicle at home. But the little small town doctor who knew her and all this other stuff was okay with it and gave her this stuff and all like that. So she felt like that was the norm. This is a housewife, literally, that, didn't have anything to do at home anymore. So she decided, well, let me go be a trucker and just go on the road and do this. I was blown away. The conversations got really heated, and the end of it all, ended up taking her back to headquarters. She finished out her final test with somebody else, and that was the last I saw of her because I was not going to continue to try and train. I did show her how to back her vehicle and to do the things that she needed to do to go ahead and take the final test for her to either become a driver or not. But once that was done and I handed her off to dispatch, I was done with it altogether.
She probably didn't make it through, because if they found out that was what she was taking, they would have had to have terminated her, because
You
that would
guys,
have been a liability for them.
the mind-blowing thing is just the fact that somebody would really think that they actually have the right to continue to operate a vehicle with that type of medicine in their system. Like, you don't even want to believe people rationalize stuff that's that ridiculous. But they're out there. And I'm not embellishing this in the least bit. I was blown away. When I heard morphine and Percocet, I felt a cold chill go down my back. Like, this, man, you must be kidding me. So then my next person was a guy called Big Baby.
Big Baby. This is not his real name. These are the nicknames
I gave them in our conversations, right? You know, based on their personality or how they acted. So Big Baby.
Excuse us.
Yes, sorry about that. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. So apologize for that. So Big Baby got on my truck as a result of him not getting along with his last trainer. So what ended up happening was, in an attempt to try and allow him to continue his training so he can be a full functionally, driving or full functional driver for this company, they wanted me to take him on. And I said, okay, he only had a few more things that he needed to do. So I said, okay. Day one, this guy is, contentious, telling me what he is and is not going to do. He just had this whole attitude like it's going to be my way or no way. And I'm like, you're in no position of authority to tell anybody what you are not going to do. You're a trainee, So then he started talking about, well, then I'm not going to finish this and I'm not going to finish that.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, then you don't want to be a truck driver. I don't understand what your motivation is. Like, how did you get this far in life thinking that you're going to tell somebody what you're going to do and you're actually going to have a job? I don't get that. I have to sign off on your training, and I'm the one telling you how to go about getting this completed, because this is what they're expecting from you. He's like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Okay, fine. So I didn't want to argue. So I did what I could. I put it out there, and I resolved in my heart that I was just going to let the dispatcher handle everything that I couldn't on the truck. I was going to let him know what he did or did not do, and however the chips fell, that's what it was going to be. So we get to the fuel aisle in Texas at a Love's. This genius starts to fuel and then walks away, goes into the truck stop, uses the restroom, buys some food, walking around on the phone with whoever he was talking to, and at his leisure decides to come back. There are countless trucks that are waiting to fuel. And if anybody understands about truckers and fuel aisles, they are not having it. So when he got back, I said, hey, you might want to be mindful of the people that are waiting for you to leave, finish your fueling, and pull forward like everybody else is expected to do out here. This is what I get back. I don't care. It ain't nobody gonna tell me anything, tell me what I'm gonna do. I'm here in the fuel aisle. I'm taking care of what I need to, and I'm doing what I need to, and basically can't nobody tell me what to do. I was like, okay, well, that is a good way to get in a fight out here, because truckers don't play. They're about their time, and time is money for them, and if you're wasting both, you will get handled out here. Mm-hmm. I wish they would. Okay. So then I get the tough guy act, right? I said, look, man, I don't know how long you think you're going to last as a trucker, but somebody's going to tune you up one day if you keep that attitude. People are serious about what they have to do, and you need to have some courtesy and discipline.
Courtesy, yeah.
And discipline, because this out here in the real world, it ain't about you, okay? You are here as a trucker servicing other vendors, and you have to be mindful that everybody out here is doing the same thing in one way or another. They're trying to get through their day, and if you're blocking that, I promise you somebody is going to get in your face about it. Well, I wish they would, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, fine. So long story short, that we had a whole bunch of antics, and he was pretty much a mama's boy and used to having his own way. Nobody could tell him what to do. And as soon as I could be done with him, I was done. and I let the dispatcher know everything that he did or did not do, and we were done. So next person I have,
Miss Shanae.
Shanae.
That wasn't her real name. That's what he did.
That's the name I gave her. So this is a doozy, right? So I met her as I was finishing up with one last trainee, right? So she wanted to be trained by somebody else. She was complaining that the person who she was with was not training her, that he just had somebody on the truck, you know, to collect the extra paycheck or to get paid a little bit more. But she said he didn't know anything about what to do. He had no knowledge as a trainer. She was desperately looking for another one. So once again, my dispatcher was like, hey, will you talk to her? And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. But I talked to her, we exchanged numbers, and we had a good rapport over the phone, right? So when I get done with my last training, I forgot, you know, exactly what happened there. But he passed his training and everything. And I called her up and I said, so do you want to switch with me or what? You know, because if she said no, I was going to go on to another training. She's like, oh my God, yes. I want to jump on your truck, whatever. When are you coming back through? And I told her when I was coming through, and I said when I would be there. She said, okay, I'll be waiting. So she got off the truck at least 2 days ahead with the other training. She sat there and waited for me, and she got on the truck. So we go out, day one, everything is cool. You know, we're just swapping information, establishing a rapport with each other and all like that, and everything's good, right? She starts to drive. I tell her, as a trainee, when the information comes over the computer, make sure you write everything down. Write everything down. All the little notes, all the little stuff that they say, hey, remember to do this and all like that. Write it down so you can ready reference it, and you can have your load numbers and everything when you get to your shipper. She said, okay. I thought everything was good. I wake up to day 2. I need your help. You need to get up here now. It was crazy because I thought she was talking to somebody on the phone, and I was like, you hear me talking to you? I need you up here now. And I come through the curtain light.
The curtain right here.
I'm like, are you talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. You need to get up here right now. You need to help me. I was like, what the heck? So I get my stuff together and I'm looking all around to see what's happening, to put my seatbelt on. What's going on? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where this place is. I'm like, what? You mean our shipper? Yes. So apparently she would panic when she got into a city area. She liked driving. There's a lot of people that do this. They like driving the open road. But when they get to a city area and you have to know like what streets to turn down and all these little particulars, she didn't write down the information that I told her. So she's pulling off the highway and doesn't know where to turn. She's trying to look at directions and look up the street, and I'm like, oh my God. So I explained to her where the place is, and I'm trying to guide her, but she's still frantic because she's panicked, you know? And I told her, I asked her, I said, didn't you write this down? Well, no, not really. I don't need to write that down. I was like, apparently you do, because look, you're freaking out about it. I don't care. I was like, wow. So we get to our shipper. She calls her boyfriend and is telling her boyfriend on me that I'm talking to her any type of way and all this other. I'm like, I'm trying to help you because you're the one that's screaming and freaking out. And I'm saying this while her boyfriend's on the phone with her. I'm like, you're the one freaking out about not knowing where to go. I'm just trying to help you. And all I'm telling you is that you need to write this information down and review it so you have some understanding what streets to look for before you get off the highway. Know what exit you're getting off, knowing whether you need to turn left or right. You know, all this information, which is basic, obvious, thinking. She didn't want to do none of that. She wanted her trainer to sit right there and baby step her through every little thing and get her where she needs to go. And then, basically get her squared away until she got on the open road and she could just drive and be straight, on cruise control. And she thought that's what trucking was. So we went round and round with this. This kept happening consistently. No effort on her part to do anything more than what felt comfortable for her. I was getting pretty fed up with this because it was just a reoccurring thing. Like she never wanted to change. Okay. So I remember we went through Kansas City. She freaked out because she didn't know where to merge. She said the streets that she was supposed to be looking for weren't up there. And I'm like, okay, so they just moved the signs. Don't be making fun of me. Okay. All right. Calm down. So, the final straw, by this time, our report was shot. She was just on some, you ain't this, you ain't that, blah, 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 blah. Talking to me all out of my name. I just started avoiding her. I put my earphones in and just whatever. If it wasn't something that had to do anything with work, Isn't this crazy? I'm the trainer saying this.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't have anything to do with work, we did not have a conversation because I had my earphones in. Because she'd be on the phone with her boyfriend and then be trying to talk at me while her boyfriend's on the phone. I don't know what that mentality was, but whatever. So in order to just keep the conversation, whatever, like non-confrontational, I have my earphones in. I'm doing what I need to do back there, chilling. Then apparently she's trying to say something to me or go off on me, and I wasn't listening, and she just went on this whole tirade. I mean, cussing me out, the whole nine, right? I happened to have a friend at that time on the phone with me, and the friend overheard her, and the friend was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "That's my new trainee." Oh man, she's a handful. She is off the chain. She's like, "I'm hearing that. What the heck? Why is she being so disrespectful? Why are you putting up with that?" I was like, "I'm just tuning in. I didn't even listen." No, that is unacceptable. What if you were on the phone with a vendor right now? What if you were on the phone with somebody that was dealing with your company right now?
Yeah.
She was like, I'm not having that. She's like, "What's her name?" And I told her name. My friend got off the phone.
Did she tell you what she was going to do?
Nope. She got off the phone, called company headquarters, got in touch with the vice president of the company, and complained about my trainee and told him everything that she heard and how she was talking to me, and how she basically asked, is this the caliber of people that you are hiring for this company?
Mm-hmm.
What I understand, she's a trainee, and is this the type of people you want representing your company? What if I would have been a vendor for your company, and let's say I was, trying to negotiate something, or even trying to talk to your driver, and I'm hearing this in the background from somebody who's supposed to be driving for you? Is this the type of impression that you want your vendors to have about your company? It wasn't even an hour. The vice president called me and told me head straight to Texas and drop her off. She no longer works for this company. I was like, he's like, "Did you hear what I said?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Beeline it there now."
Wow.
I finished that load and I went straight. I think I was in like upper Oklahoma or something like that. No,
I saw
it was in, I think it was, yeah, somewhere. I think it was in Ardmore. That's lower Oklahoma. And I had to drive all the way to Dallas.
Empty. To drop her off.
To drop her off.
He wasn't playing.
He was not messing around.
He wasn't playing.
And so I let her know what was happening. And I wasn't being, cruel about it. I just let her know, hey, we have been directed to Dallas, and I'm going to be letting you off the truck there. What are you talking about?
I'm not getting off the truck.
Yeah. Oh, she went off. Who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm.
You don't own this truck. This ain't your truck. You don't own this company, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I have signed for this truck. So this truck is under my name, as I'm the primary, driver and trainer for this vehicle. But more than that, I have to drop you off. You no longer work for this company. Oh, she went off. She was snapping and going up, cussing all in my face. And if anybody knows the distance from Ardmore to Dallas,
Yeah.
and I was just like, okay. And I'm hearing it all. Of course, on the phone with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend's going to do everything to me, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. And the craziest thing, you guys, she did not get it until I pulled up and I parked that truck and I turned the engine off. And she had to grab her stuff and get off the truck. And then I just saw like the blood drain from her face.
You're really gonna leave
she
me
went
here?
from a ferocious tiger
Mm-hmm.
to a puppy. She was just like really, like, I really messed this up. Her boyfriend came and stood right at the door, and I was just looking right at him like,
wow.
and she got off the truck, and that was that. And that was Shanae.
Shanae.
So, you have a myriad of different personalities that you deal with, and I think we mentioned this before in an earlier video. And the lesson, obviously, to remember is just keep your composure, be calm, and be professional.
Mm-hmm.
But people will try you. They will try you something crazy, and you never know what you're going to get. It feels like reaching in a grab bag, and whatever you pull out is what you're dealing with.
But now, with those examples here, you did have some good trainees.
Yes.
And
yes, I did.
and you passed them, and they
Mhm.
went on to be good truck drivers and everything.
Right.
You I guess that's in every job. You always get the Looney Tunes in companies, and the craziest thing out here is to be, rolling down the road with 80,000 pounds on the road,
Mhm.
and you got a quack driving the truck. I have had
Should I tell her? Should
I have had my experiences, but that's gonna be for another time.
Yeah.
We will bring some more of his experiences, and I have a couple things to tell you about my experiences too with another driver.
Right.
Right?
Yes. So,
So-
I guess this is it. We're gonna wrap it up. But thanks again for tuning in to Big Brick Living, and we look forward to catching up with you next time. Okay.
All right.
Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
Beep,
Bye.
beep. No,
Big Brick Living.
no, not doot.
Bye.